Hey there, it is Rachel, and I want to let you know why using timers and warnings to try to help your child get off of their screens actually does more harm than good. So we all have good intentions when our kids are getting off their screens. We'll tell them, hey, you have 20 minutes left, you have 5 minutes left, you have 2 minutes left. But it actually, like I said, does more harm than good. And I want to explain why this is. We want our kids to get off of their screens, to disengage from something that is very, very stimulating to their brain. And if we want to get them off of screens, you really need to know that the brain is actually task oriented. Our brains are set up to complete a task. We are not time oriented. And this is also true of us. And I can tell you something that's going to help you relate to this. Imagine you are sending an email to someone and you know exactly what you want to say. Your mind is in the zone. You're typing this email. Everything is going well. And your child comes over to you and they say, hey, mom, or hey, dad, can you look at something? And remember, you're right in the middle of writing this email. And if you're right in the middle and they say that, it can be very annoying, very frustrating because you are in the middle of a task and our brains are wired to complete that task. Now, if you're at the end of your email and your child says, hey, mom, or hey, dad, can you pay attention to this? Can you look at this? If you're at the end, if you're done, you're just wrapped up, it's very easy for you to shift your attention to what they're asking you to do. Our brains crave closure. They want to complete a task. But warnings and timers don't consider the closure factor. And I want you to feel this too, because your brain, just like your child's brain, is going to be very unhappy if you don't get that closure. And I want you to see what this is like. So imagine you're writing that email, you're in the middle of it, and your child says, hey, mom, hey, dad, can you look at this? And you say, you know what? No, I can't, but come back in 5 minutes, and then I can look at it. Now, your child then comes back in 5 minutes, just like you told them to do, and they say, okay, 5 minutes is up, but you still haven't finished that email. You still have a paragraph left. And they say, but 5 minutes is up. You are still going to get very annoyed because you haven't gotten that closure. Our brain really struggles when we're engaged in something to disengage easily. So when we are trying to get our kids off of screens, we give them these warnings, 20 minutes left, 5 minutes left, 2 minutes left. And we're thinking, hey, I'm being respectful. I'm giving them warnings. I'm not just out of the blue telling them that they have to get off of their screens. But what's really happening is we are working against their brains. We're not working with their brains and teaching them how to create closure. So what ultimately happens, because we're working against their brains, because they're in the middle of doing something, they get really, really frustrated or angry or whatever their reaction is, just like you would if someone insisted that you stop doing what you were doing when you were in the middle of doing it. And unfortunately, over time, when we keep doing this, it actually affects our children's self-esteem. I will tell you very briefly that healthy self-esteem is the belief of two things. When we have healthy self-esteem, we believe, number one, I matter. I feel seen, I feel understood, I feel respected. Not necessarily, I think people agree with me all the time, but I feel respected and I matter, I am important. The second part of self-esteem is I am capable. I know how to do what I have to do. But when we are giving our kids these warnings and it doesn't work, and then we're getting frustrated with them because they're still not getting off their screens, what they're learning is what I want or my point of view doesn't matter, because we're basically insisting that what we want, our kids to get off of their screens with fewer complaints, with less drama, that matters more than what they are going through, than the fact that they haven't created closure in their task. So they're learning that their point of view doesn't matter. They're also learning that they don't know how to do what they have to do. They see us getting frustrated with them, that they're not getting off of their device when we want them to. We're getting mad at them, but they don't know how to do anything different. They're not aware of those closure points, probably because you weren't aware of their closure points, so they're feeling incapable. And it's not that one time or 2 times or 3 times doing this is going to damage their self-esteem, but over and over when we do things like this, when we don't consider our kids' perspective and what's under the behavior, and when we don't teach them how to do better, it does affect their self-esteem negatively. Now, what I described in this scenario is just one reason that you might have screen time drama in your family. If you want to learn what might be going on for your child, I'd be happy to talk to you about your situation. You can click on the link that I'll be giving you and you can set up a discussion with me, a private free discussion where we can talk about what's going on in your situation, what's causing the drama, why what you're doing isn't working. And in that conversation, I can also tell you how I can help you create peace in your home related to screens in just 10 minutes a day. I'm happy to help you get where you need to be based on your situation. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you again soon.